Yes, sir. We are live now. Good luck. You can start.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, a pleasant, hearty welcome to all the participants over here, those who are on the Zoom as well as on the FB Live platform. I'm Dr. Ravi Kumar from Bangalore, India, who is presenting today the leadership skills and the developments as a webinar to all of you. And it's a very important skill set that we need to develop as an professional in any vertical or in any domain, because leadership skill is the one which is the most sought after in each and every domain and each and every vertical. So I hope today's session would be quite interesting to all of you, and I would be able to give some knowledge and some benefit to all the viewers across the globe, both on FB Live as well as here on the Zoom platform. So I welcome each and every one of you. And also it is my pleasure and privilege to thank Mr. Piyush Pandit for giving me this opportunity to present a two-day seminar, a two-day webinar on this IIU platform. International Internship University has given me a lot of opportunities, and I have been very much privileged to them, and I extend my heartfelt thanks and my heartfelt gratitude to the entire team of IIU and also to Mr. Piyush Pandit. Nevertheless, I shouldn't forget the one who is behind me to facilitate all these things to present over here on this platform, that is Dr. Snigdha Kadam. She is one of my backbone who is supporting me in all the angles and making me to give all these presentations and supporting me in each and every presentation. Thank you so much, Dr. Snigdha ma'am. And so now I'll start the session without wasting the time, because it's a 2 days continuous session. I hope all of you would be enjoying this session and also would be gaining some important skill sets that could be helpful for you to develop your leadership skills as well as to lead yourself from the front. Thank you, everyone. So today, what we would be talking about, or today's objective of this leadership skills and the developments webinar, is that by the end of this thing, all of us should develop our own definition for the term leadership, recognize our own personal leadership style, and also recognize the effective leadership traits in others, so that it would help us to develop our leadership skills. That means not only leading from forward, also making others also to become leaders, those who can be our successors going forward, and understand the process involved in the developing leadership in organizational settings as well. So with that, let us try to understand what is a leader and what is the leadership. So there's a great difference between these two terms. There's one is leader and the leadership. The reason being, all the leaders are not good at leadership, but one is good at leadership will always be a good leader. So let us understand the definition for this and the difference between these two terms, so that it will help us to develop our leadership skills and also to become a good leader in our respective profession. Right. So in the American Heritage Dictionary, the leadership defines as one that leads or guides, right? That means the person one who leads his team or his followers or his members from the front and guides them towards the success or towards achieving the goals. That is the common goal for the entire team or the entire group of members, those who are working towards one common goal. So one who leads that, he is called as a leader. And a leader is also the one who is in charge or in command of others. Here this time means, actually, I mean to say in command is might not be the appropriate word to be used here, because in command of others, in the sense it is not literally commanding over the others. In fact, it is guiding others. So in command would be like it would be the best way to suit in the defense sector. But in command here is to take over the control of the team and guide them towards achieving the goal. And is a leader is also one when we look into the political parties, right? Or in an organization, one who heads that particular party or the organization, he is also termed as a leader. And one who has the influence or the power, especially of a political nature, right? So let us not get diverse into this political influence or the political powers, whatever it is there. But let us understand for our benefit, for our professional benefit, that what are the good leadership qualities and how to develop the leadership qualities in us in our professional life. So it is also defines as the position or office of a leader, capacity or ability to lead. A leader, it is a position in an office, means it can be a team leader, it can be a department leader, or it can be a section leader, whatever it is termed as. This leader, we have been hearing it or listening to this particular term from our school days itself, right? The class leader, the class monitor, from there, it's from that level we have been hearing to this term. And that really tells us that a person who has the capacity or the ability to lead his group or his team, and a group of leaders, guidance, and the direction. The group of leaders means one who can develop the more leaders amongst this group or amongst this team and make them to qualify to become the leaders by guiding them and directing, giving them the proper direction, how to become a leader and how to develop the good leadership qualities. So the common definition of a leadership or a leader is that it is a process where an individual influences a group of individuals to achieve a common goal. That's what I was defining in the couple of slides before this, right? He not only influences, he also, how does this influence affect the each individual of his team or of his group? If you want to see that, he's the one who motivates, empowers, inspires, and collaborates with by encouraging the others, right? Here, this term, I would like to say that a leader need not be a person who is be leading from front only for his group or team. He can inspire the others, outsiders, right? And make them to develop their leadership qualities and try to become a leader in their respective vertical or in their respective domain or in their respective field of work. And that motivation or that inspiration in a leader, in a good leader, I mean to say, right, encourages others. That means others in the sense outside the group of the leader or the team of the leader, the outsiders, the one who look at him, one who learn by observing the abilities, capabilities, and the action that is being carried out by that particular leader, inspires and motivates the others also to become a very good leader, and it helps them to develop a culture where employees feel the ownership in what they do and continually improve the business, right? Taking ownership means no one should feel that I'm just a team member. I have to follow what the leader is saying. I got limited powers. I got limited uh, things to be done. I got restrictions for my expressions, so on and so forth. No. A good leader always, as it is being said, he is a collaborator. He mixes himself or herself with the team or the group of members and gives them the opportunity to become leaders and explore their own thoughts, their own ideas, and see the pros and cons, how it would affect their thought process, would be helping them to move towards becoming a good leader. So now, what are the traits of an effective leader, right? Some common traits, if you want to see, that have been used to describe a good leader, or rather than a good leader, I would love to say that an efficient leader is that first thing is the knowledgeable. He should be knowledgeable. I mean to say knowledgeable in the sense, the first thing is that a leader of a team or of a group should be knowledgeable about the goal that his team or his group is intended to move towards or intended to achieve it. That means the subject knowledge, the project knowledge, the process knowledge, all these things contribute to that knowledgeable term over here. And he should be a role model. That was I was saying just before this slide, that he should become a role model. That means others should start following him. Following him in the sense, following his footsteps, following his way of working, following his way of ideologies, learning from observation. So this is, by that, he should become a role model. And he should be a great problem solver. He should not himself be a problem to the team or to the group. He should be a problem solver. Whatsoever the problem comes on the way, whether to his team or to his group or to himself, he should be a problem solver. He should be able to solve and resolve any type of issues that arises in front of him. And he should be having that coordination skill. Means coordination skill, since he should be like a down-to-earth person. Means where he can work well with others. He can gel with all his team members. He can gel with all his group members. He can gel with any other people, those who wants to come and take guidance or the directions from that particular person. He should be a down-to-earth person. He should be very humble. And he should be a motivator. Means he should inspire others to get motivated by the actions that he carries out being a leader. Then he should be confident. He should not lose his confidence. He should not lose his or her hope. A leader should never lose the hope. Whatsoever may come, the aim should be is to achieve whatever is being assigned to me or achieve whatever I want to achieve. He should be that much confident. Whatsoever the hurdles may come my way, I am going to reach the destination. That should be the level of the confidence of a good leader. Then, as I was telling you earlier also, he should be a good observant. He should observe others. He should also learn from observations. And he should also notice the gaps and the required requisites of achieving the goal by working with others, by keen observation. What are the gaps? How can I fill those gaps in my team members? Filling those gaps in the team members motivates them, inspires them, emphasizes them to work with him and go along with him. He should be a compassionate person, right? And then always a leader should be a goal-oriented one, right? In whatsoever the case may come, he should not get diverted from the direction of achieving the goal. Then the person should be accountable. Not only the person who is the leader, each member of his group or her group or the team should be accountable. He should take the accountability of each and every member of his or her team or the group. And he should also be accountable for his team or his group. And he should be a respectable person. A respectable person in the sense, it's not that just by commanding or becoming a leader, we will get the respect. But he should be a respectable person. How can a person become respectable? By being humble, by being empathetic, by being very coordinative, by having a very good helping nature, and also keeping the patience at all the time. These are the 5 good qualities that can earn the respect to any person. So a leader should always be respectable. That means he should earn all these 5 qualities in him or her to be respected by others. And he should be capable of making mistakes and correcting them, right? So this might look a bit funny for many of you, right? You should be capable of making mistakes, right? Because as the saying goes, no one is perfect, right? At the same time, no one is imperfect also. We learn by doing the mistakes. Only by doing the mistakes, we come to know what has gone wrong and where have we put the wrong step. But not to continue that mistake. If you continue the mistake, then it becomes an offense. Let us not get into the offense. Let us do the mistake and learn from the mistake. That's where we fill our own gaps. That's what the area of improvement is in us. So by doing the mistakes, identifying what the mistake, where the thing has gone wrong, and correcting that, taking the right measures to fill that particular gap, and upskilling and upgrading himself or herself is the meaning here. And influencing the people. Influencing the people in the sense, as I told you, he should become a role model. In the first row, we have seen that role model. So he should be a good influencer. The way he acts, the way he reaches the goal, the way he achieves his destination or the success. Looking at that, the outsiders should get influenced. Yes, I should also be like that particular person. I should also want to achieve that particular goal, or I should also reach that particular destination where XYZ has reached. The action should be that much influential. And he should be a very good communicator, in fact. Because as in every session, I keep on saying that communication is the pivot of the life. Communication is the pivot of the life, right? Having a healthy communication, rather than using the word good, I would say that having a healthy communication with everyone with whom he or she interacts would help him to get respect. And at the same time, a leader should always be an attentive listener. he should listen to others. Only when a person listens to others attentively, keenly, he can understand what the issue is, what the message is being conveyed, or what the idea is all about. And on understanding, he can or she can summarize the whole thing and understand the concept of the concept and the contents. When a person is an attentive listener, only then that person can understand the context of the content. Otherwise, it will be very difficult. That's why we start repeating the mistakes if it doesn't understand the context of the content and the concept. So, understanding the context to get a better result is always what the quality of a good listener. Then, what are the leadership qualities? Once a person has developed these qualities in him or her, right? What is the next step to figure out the skills that are needed in order to develop a leader? That's what I said. A leader can lead the team from front, but a leadership quality develops or creates many more leaders amongst this team or amongst this group. That's what this says. So how can you figure out the skills that are needed in order to develop another leader? That is the prime quality of a leadership skill. Becoming a leader, understanding the context of the contents, leading the team from the front, being in the middle of the team, being humble, everything, all these qualities when you develop, the next immediate quality that one should develop being a leader is that how to develop a new leader. That means where he starts identifying the abilities and the capabilities of his team members, which would also help that particular leader to develop the negotiation skills and also to develop his or her own skill sets of identifying the other skill sets. Right? And then a next leadership quality of a person is that one should develop that delegating skills. He should or she should understand the power of delegation. What is to be delegated or what set of work is to be delegated to the which member of his team or her team. Only then the delegation skills is also developed when a leader tries to understand the abilities and capabilities of his team members. So in studying the leadership, there are a number of ideas that might come across you, and there might be a number of theories, and there can be a lot of models around us. However, these skills are usually fall into three distinct categories if we categorize them, right? Let us see what are those three distinct categories. The three distinct categories, if you want to talk about the first and foremost thing, the first and foremost category to develop a good leadership skill is that having the technical skills in the sense, whatever we study or whatever we try to achieve, are we ready to get the complete knowledge of that? That means, what are the methods we need to follow? What are the processes we need to carry out? And what are the procedures we need to follow? And develop the ability of using the tools or to operate the equipment on which a leader is working. Because a leader might not be working on that particular equipment, but that leader should be knowing the abilities and the technical qualities of that equipment where his team members would also be working. Only then that particular leader will be able to resolve any technical issues that would arise during achieving the goal. Then the conceptual skills. The conceptual skills is to analyze the situations and generate ideas. Right? In our college days, we would have done a lot of group discussions, so on and so forth. It is another quality of a leadership to develop that group discussions. That group discussions is the root cause for developing this particular ability of analyzing the situations and generating the new ideas, right? When we discuss with our team, when we discuss with a group, then we get different ideas, different ideologies from each member of our group or each member of our team, and analyzing those n number of ideas that are being given by the members of our team or be given by the members of the group, and coming to the conclusion, collating all these ideas, coming to the conclusion and giving an idea which gets the consensus of his or her team members or the group members is a most critical skill a leader should develop to have this leadership quality, right? To analyzing the situations, thinking logically where it gives the meaning, 360-degree meaning, and combining the concepts. That's what I said, collating all the ideas into a workable relationship where no team member is hurt. That's what I said, getting the consensus from the team members or the group members. The conclusion that a leader takes should never hurt the intuition of any of his team members or the group members. All should welcome that particular conclusion, but particular idea that is being brought at the end of the discussion with the team or with the group. And they should be ready to accept it willingly and wholeheartedly. Then the third quality a leader should have to develop his or her good leadership qualities is that understanding and ability to work with the people. That's what I said in the previous slide also. Understanding the team members or the group members and able to work with them. That means going to the level of those team members to understand their abilities, capabilities, and their gaps. As long as a person goes down to that level of a team member, say for a team with 10 members, a group leader with 10 members around him is working in the team, and if one person is weak in one particular category or in one particular thing, the good leader, to develop a good leadership quality, should go to the level of that weakest person of his team or the group to understand the difficulties of that particular person, why that person is not able to cope up. What is the gap in that particular person? Only then that leader can be able to fill that gap and pull the weak person to the level of others. and then move along the team together. The whole team should move together, right? So that is what understanding the and ability to work with other people in the sense with his or her team members or the group members. So these are the three major qualities or the major three categories that a leader should be able to understand and develop in himself or herself to have a good or a capable leadership quality. Then there are two categories, as we would have heard it earlier also in our college days or in our early working life, a leader and a manager. But a manager also leads a team. But there is a slight difference between those two. To understand the difference between the leader and the manager, here are a few attributes that you can take it. A leader always innovates. He always explores new ideologies. He innovates new things. But a manager simply administers. Manager is a leader of good administration. He gets the work done by his members. A manager, see the difference, understand it. A manager knows how to do the administration. He gets the work extracted or done by his members, by his team members or his group members, by his section members or his department members. He gets the work done by them. He never involves himself or herself into the work. He just supervises. He just manages the things to get done. But whereas a leader gets involved himself in that particular work, that's what I said. He not only leads from the front, but also he moves along with the team or he moves along with the group. When the person gets himself or herself involved into the work, only then that person will be able to understand the constraints that are faced by his team members, understand how to fill those gaps that his or her team members are facing. That's what the leader is always does. That's where he starts innovating new ideas, exploring new ideas. Then eye the horizons, right? A leader always eyes at the horizon. That means the end points, how to reach, how fast I can reach the goal, how fast I can take all my members along with me to reach that horizon, right? But a manager, he always eyes at the bottom line. Bottom line in the sense, that's what I was saying a few minutes ago, that he eyes at the bottom line to get the work done. This is what is known as the commanding leadership. A way of ordering the bottom line to do the work, commanding the bottom line to do the work and get the work done. By hook or crook, a manager always gets the work executed. Then a leader is a leader is an originate. And you do the right thing. Always leader thinks in 360-degree angle and gets involved with the team and does only that thing which is felt right by the entire member of the team or the group. That's why we say a leader always says the right thing. But a manager always imitates what his predecessors would have done. He imitates the same thing and takes it forward. A leader is always focusing. He always focuses on being effective. But a manager always focuses on being efficient. Right? So these are certain differences between the leader and the manager. A leader, a good leader, can be a very good manager. But a good manager cannot be a very good leader until and unless he or she inculcates these qualities that have been mentioned on the left-hand side of your screen, that is innovative, eyeing on the horizon, being originate, doing the right thing, being humble, being passionate, all these qualities, being empathetic. Then the few assumptions I am sharing here with the leading versus managing. That means a leader versus a manager again. That is, to be most effective, both sets of skills are needed. Right? That means to be a leader, you should also have the quality of a manager also. You should know how to manage. And at times, both the leaders and managers, they have the overlapping functions and are interdependent despite having polar descriptions. That means a leader and the manager, they are interdependent. They are dependent on one another. So there is a huge difference between them. The polar descriptions means two end descriptions, two varied descriptions between them. Still, they are interdependent. The leadership is a process. It is not a position. Leader is a position, but leadership is not a position. It is a process. It is a skill that needs to be developed. But it can be supported by, but not created by positional power. To develop that good leadership qualities, you need to have a good support, but you cannot create a position to be a leadership. What is the support? You get the support. In the previous slides that we were discussing earlier, we were talking about being humble, being passionate, being empathetic, down to earth, so on and so forth. Having a good coordination skills. If you have all these skills in you, you would have really developed a consistent and a favorable leadership quality in you. When you have developed a favorable leadership quality in you, you will get the support automatically by your team members or by your group members. Because you are supportive to the members of your team or you are supportive to the members of your group, they in turn support you. An effective leadership involves a convergence of leaders, followers, and situation, as is evident in research concerning leadership styles. As I was saying, effective leadership involves the convergence of leaders. Means how you can develop other leaders in your team and How can you make others to become your followers? Means followers in the sense how one can follow your footsteps, how one can follow your guidelines, how one can follow your ideologies and start exploring on it, start innovating on it, and develop their own leadership qualities. That is what is a follower. Follower is not the one who just goes behind the other. True meaning or true definition of a follower is that when you follow the footsteps of your leader, when you understand the ideologies and start innovating and exploring those ideologies and get into new ideas and ideologies in you and start developing those new skill in you, then you become a leader. That is the follower. And it is a situation where you take it up. That's what I was saying, taking up the ownership. If the leader is not available on any given circumstance for any given reason, the next person who is having that good leadership qualities should take that ownership in him or her. Thereby, the productivity of the day or productivity of that duration is not affected or is not damaged. The productivity continues. There is no break. If you develop those qualities, then you are said to be having a good leadership quality in you. A leadership quality is always to be learned. It is not inherent or it is not hereditary. It is always to be learned and it is always to be developed. How do you learn? By observing, by following the footsteps of your leader. And how do you develop? When you inculcate those ideas, the ideologies of your leader, and you start experiencing those things in you and you start doing your own innovations, doing your own exploration on those ideologies, on those new ideas, and you develop your own ideas and you develop your own thinking out of the box. That is what we call it as TOB. When you come out with some new concept, when you come out with some new solution, you start developing yourself. That's what is the true leadership quality in a person. To summarize this, it is important to differentiate, but also to recognize the overlaps. It is easy to differentiate. It is very easy for each and every human being to discriminate the things. At the same time, we should also see what are the things that are overlapping in two categories. That is between the manager and also the leader. Because a manager does also possess many good qualities in him or her. It doesn't mean that the manager is not a person to be suitable to become a leader. The position defines the different authority between those two people. That's what I said. A good leader, one who is possessing a good leadership quality, can become a very, very, very good manager. But at the same time, a leader should also possess the quality of managing his or her team or managing his production, how it is going. These are certain qualities, as an example that I'm giving you, how they are overlapping. Just by discriminating or just by keeping them apart won't serve the purpose. we should try to understand the discriminations and also the overlaps, and then only we can compare the two qualities or the two different positions or the two different designations that we are talking about. Then what are the leadership styles? The one is the highest of the three scores indicates what style of leadership you normally use. If your highest score is 40 or more, it is a strong indicator of your normal style. The lowest of the three scores is an indicator of the style you least use. If your lowest score is 2 or less, it is a strong indicator that you normally do not operate out of this mode. The score here is what all we discussed in our previous slides, what all we discussed about the qualities and the skill sets. If you can SWOT yourself, that is called a self-SWOT. If you can have that self-analysis in you, if you start analyzing, do I possess these qualities? Do I possess these skills in me? And for each, if you start giving the score out of 10, how much would you score at the end of it? Based on that, you can identify yourself to become a leader and develop good leadership qualities. If two of the scores are close to the same, that means the top and the bottom, you might be going through a transition phase, either personally or at work. If there is only a small difference between the three scores, then this indicates that you have no clear perception of the mode you operate out of, or you are a new leader and are trying to feel out the correct style for yourself. The last thing is this particular paragraph or this particular point is a good one to understand your level, whether you are in the beginning of your leadership qualities. How can you rate yourself? How can you try to become a good leader by inculcating or developing all these skill sets? Right. So there are three different leadership styles, if you can break into. Authoritarian, that is the first column. Participative is the second column. The third is a delegative, free reign, right? So what is an authoritarian style or the autocratic? Management has the most of the knowledge and skills, should normally be used on rare occasions. Underline this particular thing. This should be used only on rare occasions. This should be used when the leader tells his or her employees what he or she wants to be done and how it is to be done without getting the advice of his or her followers. Then some of the appropriate conditions to use it is when you have all the information with you to solve the problem, you are short on time and your employees are well motivated. Not to be confused with bossing around. Then the participative style or the democratic style. It involves the leader, including one or more employees on the decision-making process, determining what to do and how to do it. This is what I was saying about the group discussion. If you are a democratic person, if you are having that skill in you, how you college all the different ideas that you have collected from the members of your team or the members of your group and college them and come to one particular conclusion and gets the consensus of your team members. So once getting the consensus of the team members, that is not from each and everyone, from the team members, then the leader himself maintains the final decision making authority. That means he holds that authority of bringing that particular decision into implementation. This is normally used when you have part of the information, not having the complete information, and your employees have other parts. You have some information, and your employees or your team members will be having some other parts of the information with them. And when you get into that discussion process, that leader is not expected to know everything. That's what I said. No one is perfect. But at the same time, no one is imperfect also. If you understand these two lines, then only it will be quite easy for each one of us to develop that good coordination quality in us. Right? So, this is what is important to be knowledgeable and skillful employees. So, understanding the others' skill set, understanding the ability and the capability of others, learning from them, and taking their information, collating them, and coming to a conclusion. This allows the employees to become part of the team and allows the leader to make better decisions. So this is the easy way of making the decisions. When each member of the team or each member of the group feels the ownership in him or her, feels the participation in the activity, and where their voice is heard, when they feel that even my voice is also heard, that is what is there in the democratic style. Then the free reign or the delegative style. Here, the employees will have to have the knowledge and the skills. Then the leader will allow the employees or these team members to make the decisions. However, leader will be responsible for the decisions that are made, that are finalized. The leader will allow his team members or the group members to make the decisions, look into it, and then the final decision is always made by the leader. This is used when employees are able to analyze situation and determine what needs to be done and how to do it. That means when a leader identifies the gaps and fills those gaps in his team member or in his group members, makes them capable of analyzing the situation and makes them capable of taking the decisions, then when the employees or the team members of that particular team or the group members of a group understand what needs to be done and how it needs to be done on a given circumstance or on a given situation, that is called as a good decision making. When the person develops that decision making skills, at that time, if a leader is capable of developing such team members under his belt, then the leader is not expected to do everything. This is a style that is to be used when you have full trust and confidence on your team. Right? The trust, the confidence, how can you build it? That is in your hands. How you develop your teams, how you are imparting the leadership qualities to your team members, and how much confidence and how much trust and how much belief they develop on you and you give in return on them. That is when you start building the confidence and the trust on your team members, and using this confidence or the trust should be done very wisely. You cannot be negligent. Then the leadership styles, if you want to talk about it, a good leader always uses all the three styles, right? Depending on what forces are involved between the followers, the leader, and the situation. That means a leader, always a good leadership quality, should know and understand and should be able to implement all the three styles. That is the autocratic, democratic, and the free reign. These three styles. Because a good leader, having a good leadership quality in him or her, needs to use these styles depending on the need, depending on the situation. What is the situation forcing him to take what type of style you need to implement there? What is the situation there and what is the difference that you can make between the followers, those who just follow you and do whatever you say, the leaders, those who can have their own ideologies, those who take the ownership, and also understanding that particular situation. These are one of the top quality of a leadership. What are the forces that can influence a leader to implement a different type of leadership, or what type of leadership needs to be used on a particular given situation or a circumstance? Is that the first and foremost factor is all about the time factor. What is the duration that is being given to us to achieve the goal, or what is the time frame that is there? How much time is available with us? Then, what are the relationship a leader is having with his members of his team or the group? Based on the respect, trust, and belief. Is there a person or a member in his group or team, one who disrespects? And how to handle that particular situation if there is even a single person on who disrespects the leader or the ideas of the leader? So how to develop a relationship with that particular person to develop trust, belief, and confidence on the leader. And also understand about his team members who all are having the different sets of information. Whether it is only the leader and the members of the team or the group, or both are having. How well are your employees trained and how well do they know the task? This is how well a leader can understand the qualities, abilities, and the capabilities of his team members or the group members. And what is the type of task? That means what is the task that is being assigned, what needs to be carried out, and how can you structure and unstructure that particular task? Is it complicated or is it simple? If it is complicated, how to go ahead with it? If it is simple, how can we achieve it? Because at times, achieving a simple thing is also a very difficult thing. A complication or simple, it is a perception of an individual depending on the ability or the capability of understanding that particular task. So to his or her abilities of understanding, analyzing whether the task is complicated or simple, and assigning that to his or her team members. And should be dependent on the laws or the established procedures. Should not deviate from those things. Should be within the frame of the laws. Should be work within the frame of the procedures that are being explained or that is being given to us. Now, why is this leadership development is so important to us? Or why one should develop this quality of leadership in himself or herself? So the leadership developments, the first and foremost thing is that it evaluates the current leadership and the management styles for effectiveness based on the organization's needs and desired culture. It means developing a good leadership quality. To develop that, once you develop that, why it is needed? The need is that to evaluate the current leadership, what is happening now, and the management. The styles of the effectiveness of the management and the leadership based on the needs of the organization. What is the need of the organization? Understanding the need of the organization and the desired culture of the organization. Based on these two factors, what all needs to be evaluated with the current leadership qualities and the management style. What needs to be improved? What needs to be upgraded? Finding the gaps and improvising those gaps, filling those gaps. That develops your good leadership quality. To identify through formal assessments, job analysis, and observation the strengths and weakness of leadership styles. That's what a few while ago I said. Should be able to do that self-SWOT. That is strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. And if you have to develop good leadership qualities, you should be a good self-analyzer. One should know how to carry out the self-SWOT and also the organization's SWOT as well. And also the SWOT of his or her team or the group. Only when you understand these three things, only when a person can carry out these three SWOT stages, self, organizations, and the team or the groups, then that particular person can develop a very good leadership quality in him or her. Then why this development is needed? We want to see that we need to develop this leadership quality in us to implement a developmental plan, work towards implementing a development plan and coaching the individuals for skill enhancement. If we ourselves doesn't develop these qualities, if we are not in the path of developing ourselves, then how can we develop the people below us? Then how can we give shelter, a safety and security to the team below us? So one should develop all these qualities to get into that leadership qualities. Who all can be benefited if you develop a good leadership quality in you? If an individual develops a good leadership quality in himself or herself, who all can be benefited? The first and foremost thing which I have not written is here is that the first and foremost person to be developed is self. Then it also helps in the benefit of recently promoted managers or leaders. Those who are recently promoted as a manager or the leaders, if they inculcate these things in them, if they start implementing these things in them, they'll start developing their leadership qualities. Even the successful leaders are the managers who want to enhance their skills. Right? To me, one line comes to my mind again and again. You see, failure has a destination, but success doesn't have a destination. So, failure has a destination means it is the staircase. It is the first stair of the success. You fail on the first stair, you explore or you innovate or you start learning how to climb that first stair and you get into the next stair. That is, you are success in climbing the first stair. But the success has no destination. It keeps on going. It is at infinity. So even if you are a successful leader, the successful leader is a terminology used by others to describe a person. That's it. Because success itself is not having a destination. You can keep on climbing the ladder, stairs, as long as you are there. That means you can always enhance, upskill, upgrade your own skill sets, which in turn would enable you to impart these new skill sets, new enhancements that you have come across, import these things to your subordinates or the members below you. Then the technical managers, those who feel themselves that they want to strengthen their interpersonal skills. Here, why I am saying, especially for the technical managers, is that most of the time, technical people, totally technical people, they lack these interpersonal skills. They are quite high on the technical skills, but they lack on the interpersonal skills. This is, again, a skill which needs to be developed, a skill which needs to be learned. It is not that they are not ready to learn or they are not ready to develop these skills in them. It is the work situation that makes them to be more involved in the technical things rather than interacting with different people. These people are known as the work-oriented people. They are workological. They are workaholic. They respect their work more than respecting anything else. So if a person of that sort, a highly profiled technical person of that sort, needs to develop his or her interpersonal skills that will give the enhancement of development of becoming a leader. Then the valuable executives looking to resolve the current issues or pursue skill developments in order to more efficiently meet current or the changing job expectations. The executives, the bottom line members, those who want to upgrade themselves, those who want to upskill themselves, those who are looking at a higher destination, those who want to climb the ladder up, they need to develop, they need this development, and they need this leadership development qualities. Then the succession planning of the targeted leaders. Right? If you want to summarize all these things, the entire organization, I would rather say the entire human force needs this at whatever the level it may be, maybe at multiple levels, that needs to develop these leadership qualities in EMRR. The entire human forum needs to develop this quality of a leadership. This would help the entire universe. How can you develop, or what is the thing that is developed in us, or by doing what thing we can develop these things, is that by continued learning. By continued learning. That's why in many of my sessions, I use this acronym called as LIFE. LIFE is an acronym for me. That is, being a trainer, I always say that life means learning institution forever. So, a continued learning and the continued growth in the personal growth, continued personal development, or the successive learning, successive personal development are very essential for this evaluation of to become a world-class leader. This helps to create a culture of leadership. Once people start developing themselves as leaders, then it creates that culture of leadership. So in a survey of 150 Fortune or 500 companies, a majority of the companies expect at least a 33% turnover at the executive level in the next 5 years. And 1/3 of the companies felt that they would not be able to find suitable replacements. These things are taken by the courtesy of the Berger, an article from page number 40. It is being written by Mark X. Feck. He's a corporate HR. for Rome and has. These lines nearly inspired me to develop the content on leadership qualities. These are certain things. When you develop the leadership qualities, how can you be helped in getting promoted in your level? You becoming a leader in the organization where you are working. You becoming a leader in the current situation wherever you are working. So with these things, I would love to say that developing these leadership qualities in each and every one of us is very, very, very important, and it is the need of the hour for each one of us. So, what are the core competencies that would be there in the leadership qualities? That research has shown that there are no more than 30 core institutional competencies, and the most organizations use between 9 and 11 competencies in training and development, etc. You see, the competencies, there are not more than 30 core competencies, but most of the organizations, they use hardly 9 and 11. That means somewhere 9, 10 or 11 competencies in the training and development and also in other sectors. The most important one is that the action-oriented competency, critical judgments and the leadership qualities, communication, customer orientation, teamwork, creativity or the innovation, interpersonal skill, technical or the functional expertise competencies. So with this, I would seek permission from all of you to end my session here and continue it further tomorrow. From here onwards, how do we develop the leadership quality in me as well as in my organization? If any questions or queries are there, please do put it on the comment box so that in the next 10 to 15 minutes, we can have a Q&A session or we can discuss on those queries or the doubts that can be clarified regarding this developing the leadership qualities and how to use these leadership qualities in us, in the workplace, or in any given situation. Thank you so much, everyone. Any questions, any queries are most welcome. I'd be proud and happy to address those queries and the issues or the doubts that would be there in anyone's mind after listening to this 90 odd minutes webinar from my end. However, tomorrow at the same time, we will be continuing the same session to take you through and make you to understand the complete meaning of the leadership and the development of leadership qualities. Any queries or any questions, please do let me know. Before that, I take up the questions or the queries. I would thank and extend my gratitudes and heartfelt thanks to Mr. Piyush Pandit for keeping trust, belief in me and giving me this wonderful opportunity to present here on this platform of International Internship University on the leadership skills and the leadership development webinar. And I'm also grateful and extend my gratitude and thanks to the whole team of the International Internship University, and also, last but not the least, especially to Dr. Snigdha Kadam ma'am, one who is the reason behind this for me to present this today and tomorrow. And I extend my thanks to you, ma'am. Thank you so much.